Whew. All right. Another day, another stream. Ah, I just woke up, so not all of my brain cells are firing off like they should. But got my coffee. Hmm. Oh, let's get down to business. All right. Got the forest scene. We've escaped from the gas station bathroom. And this scene is just to set the mood. Man, why is my graphical settings like look so weird? Like why are the camera, the Unity camera symbols so blurry? This is strange, but whatever. Okay. Yeah, there is some strange graphical artifacting going on here. I wonder if it's related to my stream's bitrate. All right, anyway, so the thing about fixed camera games is I learned a trick from Silent Hill that you want the camera to be pointing at the player when they enter a new scene in a sort of neutral field. Like the players should be at ease when they enter a new scene, and it's only when they step outside of the range of the initial camera that you can then start getting a bit crazy with the tracking. So I am going to start by having this camera point at the player, and then when they move some arbitrary distance away from the entrance, then I'm going to change it to like something that's like tracking them through the woods. Let's see here. I need I need a camera to point at the player. Hey Leon, thank you. I am I'm a little ragged today. Just woke up. So bear with me as my brain warms up because I have forgotten how to do everything that I normally do, such as how to point a camera at the player. Okay, yeah, spin rotation, look at target. All right, okay, all right, we're in business. So I want the player to walk about right here. They like will cut it off about like where this bush is, and then I can change the camera to a more dramatic angle. So I'll create a trigger. Call it cam change one. scale this a bit. Thank you, thank you. Yep, I'm glad the first stream went as well as it did because I have like zero experience with this. It's a little difficult to like know how much narration or whatever I should be doing. I am going to have to fix the nav path of this scene, but first the camera transition. One problem at a time. All right. So I want when the player exits this trigger, I want to switch the camera. I'm going to call this camera, we'll call it the stalker cam. So this camera is going to like follow the player from a distance through the forest until they reach another arbitrary point, and then I'm going to like switch it up again just to make things like really disorienting. So let's have this camera line it here. And I want to modify its z-axis movement. Put the target across the screen. Going back to my trigger. When we exit this area, the camera should switch and the camera should track the player. Of course, it's tracking the player in the opposite direction. I think I need a negative influence. Ugh, alright. This is why Unity lets you mess with it in real time, so you can fix these little mistakes as you play. I'm gonna raise the. No, I don't want to raise the rotation. I want to raise the. Yeah. Y is height. Say like a Y5. Try this again. Honestly, Leon, you should go with Godot. Um, I am stuck with Unity, just because it's what I've been working with for like 5 6 years, and I just don't have the like the capacity to learn anything new. But the direction Unity is heading is not very tasteful. So as much as it pains me to say, being that this is my preferred engine, um, yeah, as much as it pains me to say that this is my preferred engine, I'm gonna stick with Unity until like they basically just until they like basically break it. I would stick with I would begin making games with Godot. Okay, so if I turn the offset to 12, Y height to 4. Okay, alright. Yep, this is looking better. Let's go 4.5. This is basically the effect I wanted to achieve. I'm going to push the camera a little closer to the player. So 9. M24, how's it going? I'm still waking up. Otherwise, I'm doing well. And I think I found the values for my camera. Maybe I want to target the... Yeah, if I want to... no. I don't actually want to look at the player. Stop that. Alright, so I'm going to copy these, 12, 4.5, offset of 12. Fortunately, Unity doesn't save any values when you exit from test play. No, it is 2 p.m. where I'm from. I'm on the East Coast of the United States. All right, so I'm going to say the next camera transition is going to be about right here, right between these two bushes. Yeah, the only thing that's making me hesitate about Godot is all of the tools I'm used to using in Unity don't really exist yet. It is a very I find it to be a programmer forward engine, and I'm a terrible programmer. It's the kind of engine where, like, if you can make your own tools, then you're going to be okay. But for somebody like me who needs to rely on people making my own tools, it's just things are going to be slower for me. All right. I'm going to make a new camera transition here. I call this cam change 2. And let's get a put the new camera like somewhere like partially obscured. So like somewhere like right here. So game object align with view. I'm going to call this forest cam2. And when the player enters, I'm going to switch to the camera. And I want this camera to look at the player. Let's see what that looks like. Yep. Looking good. Okay, so the next camera change, I want to be where he gets about like right here. And then I'm going to focus on this this little like river that I have going on here. Grab my trigger. Place the trigger about right there. And we've got this this raging river in the middle of the forest at night. Line the camera up. And I want this camera to be relatively static, so I'm not going to have it look at the player. I'll have it influenced by the cursor, meaning that it'll follow the mouse a little bit, like 0.6 and 0.4. Call this Forest Cam 3. And I am also going to move, I'm going to put this weirdo somewhere in the periphery just to keep the player on their toes. Thinking like right here. Let's see, so or maybe I'll keep him on the hill, so he's partially obscured by the fog. All right. Then we'll have another camera change trigger. Right here. When you exit the river. And the final camera change will be once you reach the end of the forest path, and you can move on. I'm just going to create a game camera. I'm going to call this Forest Exit Cam. Line with view. And this camera will look at the target, at the player. All right, and the entire scene should now be rigged up with the camera controls. So let's see how it looks. First camera change. Second camera change. I'm breaking the 180 rule, but I just think it works for to create like an unsettling atmosphere. You got this shadowy figure kind of watching you in the background, and I did not realize how deep this river actually is. I'm gonna have to go into Blender and edit this a bit. I'm gonna have to move the that camera change transition a little closer to the river, and then yeah, I'm also gonna have to guide the player a little bit better. The environment's a little confused. I'm gonna have to like kind of fence things in for a bit. But I will say I'm gonna place my my scene transition exit around right here between these two trees. I do want to like highlight these mushrooms I have over here in the corner. But that will be part of a new checklist item. So I have I can cross this off of my checklist, and I am going to fix this horribly ugly nav mesh. Let's open up Blender. everybody can spy on my Steam activity. Delete the default cube. Default cube always dies. All right. My folder structure is a yeah, rip default cube. Get out of here. My folder structure is always a mess. I'm looking for a file called forest path. Here we go, forest path. And I need to use the yeah, y up. Okay, all right. So I do have this if I hide all of these other meshes, this is my walkable area mesh, and it is it's pretty grody. So let's clean it up. Problem is I don't really the trees are handmade. I basically have here, let me import my I have one tree model that I have a couple tree models that I use. Let me look for them. So here you go. Like I have a couple tree models that I use. And then I do in Blender, I do randomized editing of all the meshes so that I can get them like randomly like different heights, different shapes, different rotations. Yeah, I really need to dive into geometry nodes. Um, but it's just it's just one more thing I've got to learn. There's only so much time during the day. So let's clean up this walkable path. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate the more extreme parts of the mesh that I do not want the player walking on. Yeah, I mean, geometry nodes, what people are able to accomplish with them are like truly impressive. And I hope to learn it one day. But that is a rabbit hole. But like watching people make entire cities with geometry nodes, just like randomized cities, is like that's what's up. I'm going to separate this portion of my walkable map, and I definitely want to raise the height of the river so it's not like chest deep water. Turn on proportional editing. I will fix that gap in a second. And of course, it's really difficult to judge depth in editing this way. I definitely want this area to be submerged, but I don't want it to be too deep. I'm not familiar with that. I've been noticing a lot of people use there's a new program on the streets for low poly modeling that also gives you like pixel, almost like pixel like control over texture painting. Been meaning to check that one out. It's used by the Shrine dev. Uh, well, let me take a break. Let me hop on old Twitter real quick. What's that dev's name? Let's see. Shrine. Yeah, Blockbench. Yeah, Blockbench. All right. Yeah, let me. Then the other one you mentioned, KHED. I purchased what is it, like Gator Tile Gator. Let's see. 3D Gator. Oh, no, no, oh my god. Crocotile. Yeah, I purchased Crocotile 3D. But it's a little awkward to use because it relies heavily on like on the position of like the 3D cursor, and it's just completely opposite to what I'm used to with 3D modeling. But yeah, let's take a look at this. Yeah, this looks like the old Hammer editor. That's that's interesting. I don't know if, like I want to hop on a $15 purchase sight unseen, even with the opportunity to refund. But I'll keep an eye out for any sales going on. And then yeah, Blockbench. I really should give Blockbench a spin because like all right, now you're just showing off. Like look at this. Yeah, you're just showing off here. All right. All right. Let's fix these points in the map. Turn on vertex snapping. I'm going to turn off proportional editing. Oh, oh, camera, stay still. I have um, I have considered using Trench Broom exclusively for environment design. The only problem is that Trench Broom is not very good at creating natural looking environments. It's a Quake mapper, so it's meant to be make like geometric Quake levels. So something like this forest scene would be a bit more difficult in Trench Broom. But I have used Trench Broom for interiors, where it works wonderfully. Okay, I'm going to join Talkable. I'm going to join these meshes together. Going to make sure that the rotation is reset. Export it back into my project. And this was forest path. Probably gonna have to rebuild my lighting here. We're getting some. I have to rebuild my nav mesh. All right, there we go. I still don't know why the why the graphical effects is like. I still don't know why this only Unity is like really blurry like this. I don't know what changed in my graphics settings, but I'm not worried about it right now. I am, however, going to put a okay, I've got a mesh collider on the environment. All right. And yeah, so the character's height is fixed. I'm gonna have to rebuild the lighting. That's why it looks so strange. Okay, all right. So I've got yep. This is about the height that I wanted. I definitely want to push that camera trigger a little closer to the edge of the river. All right. Um, I want to add a collider to these horribly ugly bushes that I'll have to fix at a later time. So I'm going to separate the bushes and make them their own object that I can just slap a collider on so the player just doesn't like walk through them. I also want to clean up the navigation mesh a little bit more. So I'm going to do what I did before by just removing excess boundaries that I don't want the player walking on. Separate that portion. I think I may have like trimmed a bit too much around this area because I found it very hard to click on where I wanted to move. Um, on second thought, no, I'm fine. I'm fine with. I am going to move these bushes out of the path though, just so that like the player's not clipping through them. All right. And now I'm going to move all of the bushes to their own mesh so that I can just slap an easy collider on them and the navigation will respect it. So call these bushes. Find this walkable area with the combine these two meshes together. Export. I'm gonna rebuild my lighting because my lighting got a little funky. And while the lighting is baking, I am gonna do some quick research onto why is my Unity game view low resolution? Yeah, low resolution. Like, why does it look that bad? Yeah, did the resolution of the game view get changed at some point? Nope, I've got it set to 1280 by 720. So it should look better than this. Maybe it's not my yeah, it's not my resolution slider. In fact, if I turn off the huh, okay, yeah, there is something with my renderer that's causing like this weird artifacting. But this is the first time that I've seen this before. So I need to figure out what's going on. Oh, okay. When did I? Yeah, I must have accidentally turned on a compression module on my renderer. Well, that was embarrassing, but like now the scene won't look like, absolute trash. And that's a good thing. Yeah, that's much better. Okay, so what I want to do now is when you reach the edge of the river, um, I want to change the walk speed to be a little slower and to use an animation that's like wading through water. Uh, I could use some more like details around the periphery of the, just and yeah, okay. I haven't really decided like where I want the player to exit the map at. Oh, all right. What I'm going to do, I'm going to create a few more bushes along this edge right here to guide the player um towards the I'm going to make the exit's the map right here. So I'm going to put a few more bushes around that area to guide them towards the exit because it is just not entirely clear right now. All right, we're going to call this path exit HS. I'm going to call this hotspot uh what should I call this? Like deeper forest or like I'm yeah coffee coffee. When my brain when my brain remembers to be creative again, I'll change the name of this, but I'm just gonna call it deeper. So yeah, when you click on this, it'll take you to the next map. I want a couple more bushes around the exit to guide the player's eye. Uh, we'll do the Bethesda method of map making, um, which is duplicate everything and hide it underground. Everybody likes Bethesda games, right? There's no drama behind them. Bethesda games are good, right? Export that. This is probably going to break my lighting again. Yeah, yeah, that's Bethesda, all right. Like the only expectation that you can have is that they will break, but they're so addictive. They're just like I one of these days I need to finish up New Vegas. I basically triggered all of the like the end game faction quests. I talked to the Mr. House. I spoke to like all the mafiosos and the various faction leaders, and I'm ready to like go to the dam. But I just like I don't feel like ending the game yet. There's just so much. There's so much left to explore. All right. Now I'm gonna do something a little different. Yeah, yeah, that is like the one thing I don't really care for with Bethesda. Like even though New Vegas is an Obsidian game, it's just like the green filtering is so oppressive, and if the world isn't green, then it's like brown. And I mean Fallout 2 had like a lot of colors to it because like it was the world on the mend. Now in this map, I wanted to create a I wanted to create like infographics, kind of like billboards that the player interacts with, and they clue you into a certain puzzle that's coming up. Starring a funny little character called Ranger Rabbit, and I'm going to be reusing a rabbit model that I have for Ranger Rabbit. I don't want to save that. Okay. Uh, this I'm eventually I'm going to model a little like a ranger. Let me look up first. Let me I'm going to create a new texture here, but yeah, I want to make like yeah like a ranger Rick, just like a furry mascot with a ranger hat. That's like hey kids, don't get lost in the forest at night. Except it's a bit more sinister than that. Eventually, I'm gonna give this guy some clothes, and I'm gonna like draw an outline on him and everything. But I just need a placeholder for now. I just need a placeholder for now. Oh my god, my my 3D files are so messy. So let's create a new camera. There we go. Okay. render out this image. So again, this is just a placeholder for an infographic that I'll be using for Ranger Rabbit. All right, all of you windows, like, go away. Yeah, so this is gonna be like a billboard. I'm gonna have like a wooden texture in the background. And once I actually model his like ranger coat and hat, you know, he's gonna be doing like a Ranger Rabbit says, you know, don't get lost in the woods or you might be eaten by a bear. Um, let's grab a lorem ipsum. Lorem ipsum being a helpful dummy text when you want fake text to look realistic. I could stand to reduce the font size just a little bit because I'm going to apply like a pixelated filter to the text because I don't actually want the player to read what the billboard says in game. I think this is enough. I'm gonna increase that font size just a little bit. Nope, I think we're yeah, all right. I'm going to draw a little like a crude little tree behind it. You know, it's meant to look like what are those like national park? What are they called? What are they called? Like you know, you go to like a park and they have like something like this, but I mean it's like park like a trail marker, something like this. Yeah, yeah, like you know, like you see like a sign at like a national park. Gonna, gonna paint a crude tree. Um, of course, I will paint a better tree when it becomes necessary. Okay, let's pixelate this. And let's make the text a little larger. And I want to sharpen it just a bit. All right, there we go. Okay, this is a good texture placeholder for what I want to eventually accomplish. We'll say this is call this trail marker. Back into Blender I go to make the actual board. I'm sorry, I need to look up some references because yeah, okay, yeah. Trail signs and kiosks, something like this. This is exactly what I want. So you've got like a wooden post. It has like an awning. I don't think I need to get that fancy. I don't think I need an awning. But yeah, okay. This right here is good. Bit skinnier. Okay, going to like that. So the actual board itself is thinner than the posts. Okay. That. And let's duplicate this, rotate it 90 degrees. I'm going to increase the size of my texture just a little bit so that I can fit in a few more images, a few more tileable images. Normally I try to keep my textures to 256 by 256 because that is what the max size the PlayStation could handle. There's really no reason why I should like adhere to the PlayStation's texture limitations, at least as far as uh packing texture atlases go. Um but it's a habit that I got into very early on and just haven't been able to break. Okay, let's texture this thing. Yeah. Limitations are fun. It's just it's just a silly limitation. Like to be honest, it's just like kind of a silly limitation. Because like I'm already working with 64 by 64 pixel texture atlases. So like theoretically, there's really no reason for me to actually like uh limit my image size, but it's like I have fun. It's not an inconvenience. It could I could be working more efficiently is all I'm saying. Okay, let's shade this thing. I'm gonna call this info marker mesh info marker matte. I need to find a way to make round to pixels by default, because otherwise Blender will not snap your UVs to pixels, and it can get a little annoying when you try to UV unwrap. Okay, this is why you create a guide to help you line up your pixels when you're UV editing. I also wish that Photoshop would default to here. I'm adding this to my checklist, like, because this is something that bothers me all the time. Figure out how to default to PNG save Photoshop CS6. Because if I have, I mean, I understand why Photoshop does it. If I have any layers at all, it will think I want to save it as a PSD, because PSD will save the layers, but like I don't. I want it to save as a PNG. Okay. So now that I actually have rotate this by 270. All right, let's export this. First, I need to make sure that the transforms are reset. This will go into my models, objects, and this is info marker. Export as a Unity object. I'm going to go into the vertex paint and just set dirty vertex colors, just to give it a little extra juice. All right. So going into models, objects, info marker, extract the material. Yeah, my folders, I really need to just like rename my folders, because like for models I have like a folder for objects, but in my materials I call objects props. And this is what happens when you work on a game for like 3 years. Yeah, things just get you need to do some house cleaning. Um yes, I want to extract the material into props. Okay. And I need to import the texture. I'm adding this. I'm adding this to my checklist. I know there is a way to set Unity's default import settings. So let's see. Look up Unity import default settings. Change that shit, bro. Because I hate that textures default to bitmaps. I don't use bitmaps. I understand why Unity would think I would, but I don't use them. Um, okay, back into materials. All right. And I want my vertex color mode set to color. Want the object to be lit. And I'm going to place the billboard somewhere near the entrance. I'm probably going to increase the size of the billboard. I'm just going to check to see how large it is next to the player. Oh yeah, I need to make this like bigger and make a collider so I don't like walk through it. I think 1.25. Well, okay, I can just scale it in Unity. I don't know what I'm doing. I can scale it in Unity and then apply the scale in Blender. Let's increase the height by 1.5 and the X by 1.25. I don't need to increase the Z value. Now let's increase the X so that I don't actually stretch the texture that much. And I'm going to create a hotspot. Call this info marker. I do want to reposition this a little closer to the entrance, just so that it's like the very first thing the player sees. I'm gonna tilt it just a little bit. Nothing wrong with a Dutch angle. Copy and paste the transform. All right, let's create a walk to marker so that the player will like, walk in front of the billboard to examine it. I'm gonna call this billboard marker. Rotate it. So the player is going to walk to the billboard marker. I do want to limit this to only the forest cam. That way they can't accidentally click on it when it's off camera. Because that is a thing I have learned can happen when it comes to players messing with your game. Where there's a will, there's a way. They will find a way to break it. All right, so limit to the camera. make up some dialogue real quick. Like an information kiosk. There's an insipid cartoon rabbit. Information kiosk with an insipid cartoon rabbit. Reminds me of my... Yeah, I want to clue in the player that the main character also has like a history of like wandering the woods as a child. I'm just to say like reminds me of my childhood, and I can clean that up at a later date. So I do want to walk to the marker, face after moving. And I'm gonna have, if you interact with the billboard, I'm gonna have some dialogue. Something like you know, Ranger Rabbit says, "Stay out of the forest at night." I kind of want to include rabbit facts, like the fact that rabbits, you can scare rabbits to death. I gotta want to make that like a highlight of examining this board. But when I'm writing any dialogue, it's a very spur of the moment thing. So I like to keep it loose while I'm just doing these like jam sessions. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. This looks good. So let's rig up the wading the wading through water effect. So I'm going to need another trigger. I'm going to call this water wading trigger. So when the player enters, I'm going to change their movement speed to be a little bit slower, and I'm going to change their animation so that it looks like they're wading through through like ankle deep water. A little difficult to line up because I made the river like such an oblong shape. Okay, no, yeah, I hate rotations. I want to, yeah, there we go. I want it to rotate like that. Thankfully, I've already created this effect before. Go, yeah, I already created this effect before. So I'm just going to steal the script that I have here. All right, so I need got the Treadwater Bool. I think I want, yeah, I think I have like a river sound effect that I want to play. I'm gonna have to set up a 3D audio object so that as the player gets closer to the river, it gets louder. So I'm gonna say ambiance oasis. Going to change footsteps to water splashing. That's another thing I need to remember. I need to change the player's footsteps from the concrete footstep sound of the previous scene to like uh, feet on like crunchy leaves. Okay. And here we go. I need to change the player character animate move speed float to walk and run slower. All right, back to my forest scene. So when the player enters this trigger, I need to character animate. I need to tread water. Turn that bool on. So that'll trigger the treading animation. I need to change the footsteps. I think that's under sound? No. Where was that under? I think it's under the player? No? Pardon me, I need to look up my software's documentation. Oh, change footsteps. Okay, it is under sound. I don't know how I didn't notice it before. Sound. It was the first thing. Like like I really woke up on the wrong side of the bed. So change the player's walk footsteps. I've got I have 4 separate sounds for walking through water. Okay, and then I want to change the character's movement speed. Okay, so I'm going to select all of this, and this is all going to occur only when the player enters this trigger. I'm going to duplicate this component, change it to exit, and reverse everything that I just did. So turn off this bool. I need to reset their footsteps. And reset their walk speed, which I'm gonna have to look up because I cannot remember what the default walk speed is off the top of my head. Walk speed is 2, and the run speed is 6. 2 and 6. I'm also going to bump up the deceleration a bit because like my character can kind of like ice skate when I make sudden turns. So let's test this out. I wanna yeah, see like why did yeah, I need to figure out like a better like I need to tweak some numbers because you know he can if I make a sudden turn, he like ice skates. It's a little weird. So I think eventually what I'm gonna do is like when you reach the center of this location, this like shadowy guy watching you is going to kind of like walk off or recede into the distance. Okay, all right, yeah, that's not bad. Um, I'm going to increase the speed just a little bit, just because of, like, that was people tell me how like they're very sensitive to slow movement speed. And I mean, it is supposed to be like a slower game, but I'm also sensitive to it's not really necessary to make it that slow. I'm not making a Sierra game. I'm gonna move Nakey Boy just a little bit closer. Actually, Nate, like, yeah, Nate. All right. Okay. Now I'm gonna create a 3D sound object so that we can blend in the sound of the river. Using 3D spatial audio. So, very important, Unity does not default to spatial audio, so you need to adjust this slider from 2D to 3D, or you will not have 3D sound. I see this a lot in like new indie projects. People forget to adjust this slider. So even though they'll like advertise 3D audio, or they'll have like a game where you're being chased by a monster or something, um, you can't actually like tell which direction any sound effect is coming from because they don't like adjust that slider. So I do want the max distance to be to only encompass the river and like a little bit more. Yeah, we'll say 15. Minimum distance 3. Oh, what did I change? Okay, yeah, I don't want to spread. Um, and I do want a linear roll off, meaning that when you're outside of this area, you can't hear the river at all. Because otherwise, there will be like a faint. I might want like a faint river sound. That's fine. I can do this. And audio clip, ambiance, oasis, play on awake, and loop. So let's hear that in game. Yeah, okay, yeah, I can hear it in game. I think. Yeah, okay, yeah, I can hear the sound of the river in game. Oh, um, it is camera dependent. So I think I need to find where my camera is. Yeah, yeah, okay. My camera was outside of the radius, which is why it was so faint. So I'm just gonna bring my camera a bit closer, and I'm going to create a new player start marker just so I don't have to like walk back to the river to actually hear um, the effect. I'm going to change the player start, and let's hear this. Okay, all right. Uh, need to actually change the game camera. Let's try this again. I'm going to push the camera a little closer just so that the sound can be louder. Yeah, that sounds good. All right. And you, my naked mushroom man, you were much more unnerving when I could actually see your silhouette. Okay, yeah, that looks better. Going back to the to-do list. So I got the water sloshing effect. And that basically does it for this this scene. Eventually, I want to do something with these mushrooms here. I know what I need. The next part of my puzzle, I need to create a map. So the player is about to enter a forest maze. And in order to navigate the maze, they need to build a compass. But before they do that, they have to navigate to a campground. So the first component of navigating the forest maze will be to follow the correct path to the campground. You gather some items at the campground. You create a makeshift compass, and you use that to navigate through the maze proper. So I'm going to make a new texture here. This will be a placeholder texture for like a map of the forest. So I'm just gonna draw something crude really quick. Actually, I don't need to draw anything quite yet. I'm just gonna reuse the info marker that I have, and I'll have to create a map in my spare time. Let's move this all the way to the end of the forest path. Create a hotspot over this selected mesh. We'll call this forest map HS. We need a player walk to marker. We'll call this map marker. My rotation goes crazy. Let's turn this negative 180. All right, so you look at the forest map. It's a forest map. All right, so let's see. I need to tell the player that there are two potential locations they can access. So I'm gonna be like, according to this map, the path leads deeper into the forest. There's a campground. There's a campground on one end and a grove marked at the other. Let's just say, Ranger Rabbit says to access the campground, yeah, so to access the campground, the player will follow exits marked with like rock, flower, bush, reed. I will think of a more elegant dialogue exchange for this, but the player is basically going to follow several trail markers to reach the campground. And then Ranger Rabbit says, the heart of the forest, go, what was the Forbidden Forest in the first Zelda? Let's see. Like Zelda 1 maze directions. I always like to reference this. Yeah, so northwest, southwest. So, like, reach the heart of the forest. Head northwest, southwest. And that does it for this scene. So in the next scene, as soon as I find it, where did I hide the forest maze? Where did I hide the forest maze? Oh, why did I name it as like a part of the gas station? That's not right. Okay, so yeah, this is going to be the forest maze. The player, you have the four cardinal directions. I'm gonna have like some kind of like a trail marker on each of them, like a cairn. Is that how you pronounce it? How do you pronounce a cairn? No, it's not Karen.
Karen.
Cairn. Okay. Yeah, so there will be like a cairn, some kind of like I don't know. I will have to think of four objects to mark each of the forest path. The player is going to enter from a random location on the path. The only way they'll be able to find where they're going is by following the markers. And then once you actually build the compass, I am going to go back to my Ranger Rabbit model. I'm going to export this model. I will have to clean them up at a later time. But we're going to export Ranger Rabbit. I'm already thinking about all the work I have to do on this rabbit model. I'm gonna have to bake. Right now, I'm just using materials to color the rabbit. I'm gonna have to bake it to a texture. And it looks like there is an import error, so I'm gonna have to export again. This is a thing with Unity. If you export a complex model, you need to wait for Blender to finish exporting it before going into Unity. Otherwise, you'll get a strange error. And I only want to export the mesh itself. So basically, my final conceptual idea for the forest maze is that Ranger Rabbit's going to be holding his paws out like this. And you build a compass by filling a bowl with water and putting a magnetized needle in the water. That way you can reference your cardinal directions. But right now, I just want to export this model. And I only want the selected object because otherwise I'm gonna export like all of this crap. I don't want that. Ranger Rabbit export. Okay, all right. I called Ranger Rabbit a person. So materials, people. Call this Ranger Rabbit Matt. Um, so yeah, this guy is going to look a bit when I'm finished with him. He's going to look a little bit like the rabbit from Silent Hill 3. Like this creepy motherfucker, Robbie the rabbit. I don't think I'm gonna be like as aggressive with, you know, I don't need like blood or rust on him. He's just gonna be like a kind of rotting statue in the woods. But until I reach that point, here is where he will remain. Gonna create like a interactive hotspot with him. Create a walk to marker, rabbit marker. So when you examine it, you know, you're gonna say something like, it's a rotting statue of Ranger Rabbit. Uh, I don't want to gender Ranger Rabbit. So I'm just gonna say like, their paws are stretched out. Uh, their paws are cupped like it was holding something. And that's going to tell the player that, you know, you need to like put a bowl of water in its paws to build your makeshift compass. And when you actually use the hotspot, I'm going to walk to marker, face after moving. I'm just going to say something stupid here, like, yeah. High five. No. Let's see here. When you look at the statue, it clues you in that like you need to put something in its hands. But when you actually use the statue, um, you actually use the statue. Oh, brain fart, brain fart. Drop my coaster. I got these my little sister for Christmas got me these Nintendo coasters. I think they're cute. I'm my drink is resting on Donkey Kong. So I think what I'm going to do now, I'm getting a general idea for how I want to navigate the first part of the maze. I'm going to do like I'm going to create a couple of cairns, a couple of stone cairns, um, and I will make it like the player has to navigate them, like shortest to tallest or some variation. So let's model some stone cairns. Proportional editing. Do a mesh transform, randomize. All this Cairn 3 mesh. Stone Cairn matte. Let's find an appropriate texture for this. All right. Looking for a stony texture. Yeah, I got one in my amphitheater texture pack. Uh, this weird thing will do. I need to go back to this texture pack and clean it up, but I need to always change round to pixels because Blender will forget that I want to scale things by pixel. Good enough for government work. All right, let's shade smooth, go into vertex paint, and use my favorite trick of setting dirty vertex colors. If you know, if I was really if I was really thorough, I would paint the vertex colors myself. But dirty vertex does the job at a pinch. Although I do know a few friends who would yell at me for doing that. But hey, you know, sue me, take me to court. It's going well, Treasure Rat. I'm getting a lot done, a lot more than I honestly thought I would. I'm probably going to continue streaming for maybe about a half hour more, at least until I finish this scene, because the next scene I haven't created at all. It's going to be like a camp scene, and there's going to be many objects. So I'm probably going to stream again on Thursday. And that stream is just going to be like me modeling and texturing in Blender. Uh, yep, I am a game dev. I'm making a point and click, supernatural, like kind of like a Gabriel Knight style adventure game in Unity called Still Ridge. You can check out the trailer on Steam. I've got a link in the description. I'm Okay, let's go to my props. And yeah, I'm gonna have to edit the size of this. Let's call this also need to extract them. No, I don't need to extract the material. I just need to use the same material I already have, the amphitheater. Okay. All right. Um, so I want. Let's push the scaling just a little bit more, just a little harder. I want it to be taller than I do wider. Well, I got started making games back in 2000 or 2001, whenever RPG Maker was hacked and released in English. But I really did not get started in um, for real until like 2019. So I've only been doing this for about 5 years. Um, so I mean, just like just join a game jam. You know, just do game jams. Here, let me. I'll take a break to show off. Whoops, don't want you to. Yeah, so this was my first game, and you can see how like crude it is. This was my first ever attempt at modeling in Blender. This is my first attempt at like rigging and designing a game. It looks like trash, it plays like trash, but like you just have to start somewhere. Uh, this was the next game that I made, the Shrine of the Silver Monkey. So this was a if I don't know how many people are familiar with Legends of the Hidden Temple. It was a game show where you like run an obstacle course through like kind of like a fake um through sort of like a fake dungeon. Uh, and there was one room called the Shrine of the Silver Monkey that everybody had trouble with. So I made a game where you use like a physics engine to piece together the silver monkey, and based on your score, you win one of their crappy prizes because Legends of the Hidden Temple had really bad prizes. It was either like, you know, a pair of $50 shoes, uh a boombox, or you know, a weekend to Universal Studios Orlando, Florida, where they shoot all the Nickelodeon shows. And from there, I made like Cigar Break. Come on, come on, come on was like kind of like my breakout game. This was like what I got like a lot of big name streamers play this. Um, but once I started Still Ridge, I slowed down because Still Ridge is going to be like my first commercial project. So eventually, I'm gonna add a couple more rocks to this um, to designate the path that the player must play. But just a placeholder for now. So I still have time. Um, so before I lose all motivation, I'm just going to like rig up the basic puzzle. Um, I need to talk my way through this. So basically, whenever the player accesses this scene, I'm going to teleport them to a random entrance. Okay, so this direction is Z forward, so this will be north. So north, east, south, west. So I'm gonna say this is north marker. East marker. South marker. And west marker. So on start, when we first access the scene, I want the camera to immediately fade out because we're doing the video game trick of moving things around while the player can't see anything going on, which leads to funny accidents. You know, if you ever play like a janky game and the characters are like T-posing, it's because they didn't wait long enough for the camera to fade in, so that everything like all of the animation logic starts happening. All right, so I want to immediately fade out, and now I want to randomly determine. I'm going to randomly check 4 possible values, and we're going to teleport the player to one of the randomized forest path exits. So I want to teleport the player if it's random option 0. We're going to teleport them to the... no, I am using a paid asset called Adventure Creator. It's frequently on sale for $40. But this asset is amazing. I would not be able to do as much as I could do without Adventure Creator. It is used by a lot of adventure game devs. Uh, it is like out of all of the paid assets, Adventure Creator is like the one thing I will miss if I have to like move to Godot or another engine, because it just makes creating not even like really narrative games easy. It just makes making like games easy. I've made action games using this system. Unity does have a visual scripting system though, built in. They purchased Bolt. I haven't used Bolt because I am more of a Playmaker guy. If I'm going to use visual scripting, I'm going to use Playmaker. Um, oh, show me some screenshots of Bolt Unity. But yeah, if you want to do visual scripting in Unity as close to Unreal blueprints as possible, then Bolt is here for you. And there are people who make games using Bolt. I believe Hollow Knight was either Bolt or Playmaker. I believe it was Playmaker, but there are games that use both. Okay, so north, east, south, and west. I feel the same way. I tried getting into blueprints. A couple of my friends are just like wizards with blueprints, but I can't make heads or tails of it. I can't make heads or tails of Unreal. I understand Unreal is like really meant for a AAA pipeline. And I mean that's not to say that indie games can't be made. There are lots of like indie Unreal games, but until Unity comes to my house and takes money from my wallet, I'm sticking with it for now. I just hope we never reach that point because like stop making me hate you, Unity. Like stop it, please. I want to like you. I'm gonna copy the rotation of my markers. All right, and now I need a camera. I need like a default camera. Let's see what this looks like here. Um, yeah. The Steam. I never thought I would become a Linux sicko, but after having owned the Steam Deck, going on 2 years now, I'm really turning into a Linux sicko. Um, Windows is just it's too convenient. You know, everything runs on Windows, but Valve Valve pumped so much money into like the Proton project that that like it's weird to say that I've had more success. Yeah, if all of my software ran on Linux without any issues, I would probably install Linux on this machine. But it is really impressive how many games run on Linux with Steam Deck. Just there is some like Proton file that will run the game for you, and I've had more success, more compatibility with Linux than I've had with Windows with some old games. It's like it's weird. It's very strange. Why can't I run this like Windows 98 game on Windows 10, but Linux will just like take it easy? All right, and I want my camera to look at the player. So let's run this scene. Yeah, I use Oh, I need to fade in the camera. Yeah, I use FL Studio to make all my music. Yeah. Another thing about Steam Deck is that I've been able to beat more games than I like ever thought I would. Like I've basically gone from someone who can finish a game like one game every 6 months to like a game a month now. I just let me take a quick break. I just beat Crow Country. This game's pretty good. It's a Resident Evil throwback. Um, at first I was worried that it was a little too easy, and it is kind of easy in the end, but it really ramps up in difficulty. It has a lot of clever puzzles, and the end game gets a little non-linear. So there are a few times that I was like completely lost, and I can tell that this is an early screenshot of Crow Country because this creepy bones guy right here is twice as big in game as he is in this screenshot. It's kind of unnerving. This game has like really great monster designs. So yeah, Crow Country. Hop on it while it's still 10% off, or pay full price. Support your support your local indies. Self published. I also need to hop on Animal Well. People have been talking about Animal Well. The thing about Animal Well is that it made me I don't know how many people. I don't know if we have any Australians in the chat, but Animal Well reminds me of Dot and the Kangaroo. This like really bad, I think it's from the 70s, like animated film. It's kind of like an Australian treasure that made its way to America. And this mofo right here, the Bunyip, like this reminds me of something from Animal Well. It's a great creepy song in kind of like an unnerving creepy movie. I love the vibes of Dot and the Kangaroo. And honestly, I think I'm copying a little bit of the vibes in my game, Still Ridge, with this forest scene. Okay, so after I teleport the player, I need to actually fade in the camera because otherwise you're blind. You're running blind. Uh, okay. Ooh. Uh. Ugh. Yeah, I don't like this. Um. Yep. So managing the camera is always the most difficult part of any fixed camera game. I do have a Discord server. Um, you can access the link. It's on my Twitter. So if you go to my Twitter, JB underscore TYN, I've got my I've got my Discord link here. I believe the link is still active. Um, I'm not very active in my Discord. Just because I'm just like if I'm not working my full-time job, then I'm doing this. But I'll answer any questions, and I'll um I'll respond to any inquiries that you might have. So to maximize the disorientation of this scene, I'm actually going to create different cameras based on based on what position you come in. I'm going to call this North Forest Cam. This will be West. This will be South. Because this is meant to be a maze, and mazes are disorienting. And this is East. Go back to my script. And I want to switch the camera based on where the player comes in. However, did my okay? Yeah, I don't think I actually duplicated my camera. That's a bit strange. Oh my god, Unity, work with me here. This is East. This is South. And this is West. Okay. east, south, and west. And let's make Ranger Rabbit a bit taller. Oh, I did not reset his transform. I'm not going to bother with it. I did not set the correct export settings when I exported the model, but I'll just make a note that I need to make them taller. All right, I'm just going to dock the game view so I can see what's going on, and then I'm going to run my start script a couple of times just to make sure that I am getting randomized values. And yep, I'm getting randomized values. So yep, the player is teleporting around. Yes, this is a point and click game. I'm trying to implement control direct controls. I need to figure out how to when you use a controller, it takes away the automatic AI navigation, the navigation mesh. So I need to figure out how to make that more streamlined. But yeah, the game will eventually be direct controlled as well, so you can play it with a controller. But right now it is point and click mouse input only. And Lesty N, why don't you tell me like where you are? Like, are you comfortable with making a game? I mean, my tip for anybody developing a game is to start as small as you can. Um, I don't think I'm overscoping with Still Ridge, but it is like this is a multi-year project. So okay, yeah. I think I'm basically finished. I've accomplished a lot of what I wanted to do. I've made two scenes. Uh, and I've begun creating the forest maze puzzle. I think I'm going to kill some time by updating my splash screen logo. So I'm just gonna be working in Blender for a little bit until I call it quits. Um, yeah, it's good to have confidence because there will be a point where you hate what you're doing and you just want to stop. Motivation is very difficult. So my general tip for game dev is to just always make something. Like there will be days where you just do not feel like working, but if you make like if you make a rock a day, if you make an object a day, then eventually you'll have like a complete game. It might take you a long time, but like taking 5 years to make a game is much more productive than never making a game. So what's Unknown Island like? Is it a horror game or I wish I could help with coding, but I'm not a coder. As you can see, I'm all about the visual scripting. I will say headaches is you need to establish. Oh, if you'll excuse me, my CEO just entered the room. 1 second. Oh, oh. My cat executive officer. Meow. He he's upset that I'm paying more attention to y'all than him. All right, get out of here. Okay, let me write down my thoughts here. Let me write down my like how to be a successful game. He is he's a chunky boy. He's my chunky boy. But he controls my budget and my time. Um, I would say like step one, successful game dev. Start small. Step two, working prototype ASAP. Basic game loop. For me, a game loop is like an environment that you can walk around in. Basically, what I've been doing for the past 2 hours. If you're making like a horror action game, like a Resident Evil or a Silent Hill, a basic game loop is like a single room. Don't make it a complex room. Just make it like a cube with maybe an object in the center that you have to walk around. Make a monster, something simple like a zombie that will just approach the player and grab them and bite them. And then you make like one weapon, a gun or a melee weapon. All you want to do is make sure that everything that you will eventually want to create works at the smallest level possible. Um, like you think about like the elements of Resident Evil 1 on the PlayStation, the first Resident Evil, and it's like you interact with hotspots in the environment, you shoot zombies, and you have an inventory. Uh, but when you scale those things out, like that's where the complexity of game dev comes in, and that's when you can like really um, get that's where the water can really rise above your head. You need to start small, you need to plan early, and you need a working prototype like ASAP. Uh, don't worry about graphics, don't worry about sound. It needs to be a playable game. Um, and then from there, it's just like you just gotta manage your time. Like I said, what works for me is I just do one thing a day. It can be as simple as like modeling this like TV guy. This can be just like the one thing I make during the day. This is my splash page logo. I kind of wanted to I wanted to like remodel it because there's already somebody using a TV head guy. Uh, and yeah, I don't have much in the way of programming advice because I'm not really a coder. But being consistent in your naming schemes, um, look up look up like how to name variables properly because when you go back to refactor your code to clean it up to make it more efficient, you will thank yourself. Yeah, 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 like make your code as simple as possible. like clean functions. I I just really don't have like the mental power to look at text for long. Like I if you break things down into like charts and graphs, then I can find problems easy. But when it's all text, I can tell you what like what I used to code in Python and JavaScript, and my troubleshooting was just like, okay, let me change this variable. Did anything happen? No. Let me comment out this section. Did anything happen? No. It just got annoying. But yeah, I massive respect to people that can like wrap their heads around around text like that. Okay, okay. I want to walk through what I'm trying to accomplish here. So this is like my splash screen. Um, I do want to create like a row of let's say one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, a row of like eight TVs with color bars, and each TV will have the name of my company displayed on each of them. I'm going to we're going to make this easy. We're going to use an array modifier. Paste that out, and yeah, I kind of want to replicate the look of what was that scene from Near Automata that had like the mountain of TVs. So say like Near Automata TV mountain. A a little more organized than this. Yeah, yeah, a little more organized than this. Although this like actually this is giving me like a better idea than the one I was coming up with. Because like I believe Cowboy Bebop also had like a wall. Yes, yeah. Oh, Near Automata. You owe some people some money. But hey, it's okay. You know, in my belief, if you're gonna rip off anybody, rip off the best. All right, yep. Take it easy. I'm gonna be ending the stream soon anyway. But yep. Have a good day. Oh, I'm sorry. I've kind of lost the plot, so to speak. I'm just like futzing around now. Um, so I'm going to leave things open if anybody has any like more questions or anything else to chat about. Then I'm gonna end the stream in about 5 minutes or so. So as I was saying, I might stream again on Thursday. Depends on how I'm feeling. That stream is going to focus on that stream is going to focus on creating a new area. So it's going to be spent a lot in Blender. A lot of texturing, a lot of modeling. Um, And but yeah, like today was like surprisingly successful. I was not expecting to get as much done as I did. Um but like thank you for 1,000 subscribers. I never thought I would get this far when I started this channel. I started this channel as just a way of like converting my Patreon. um oh yeah, yeah, like I've gotten more done in 2 streams than I have like on my own. uh but yeah, I started this channel as a way of just like converting my Patreon text articles into like video articles, and I never expected that like 1,000 people would listen to me ramble on. But thank you for being here, and I will see everybody, if not Thursday, then next Tuesday. Stream out.